Yeah. Look out your window. Knicks fans is on your block. Y'all know the Knicks run the city. Pull them shades back. Look out your window. Look down there on the block. That's Knicks fans right there. It's about that time. It's about that time of the week where you get ready for your work week with the man that is so smooth. He does not require a chaser. Your main man, the real, still the real Anthony D. And your main man, Jersey's finest, the hood representative, Uncle Freezy. Yo, good mornings. Salute to everybody. Welcome to the premier Knicks on a Sunday morning show. Old School Knicks. I am the number one chief rocker in Knicks Universe, your main man, Uncle Freezy. My guy, my brother, Anthony D soon come. He logging in right now. He'll be here in a moment, probably refreshing his cup. And so while we here, Anthony D is on the way. While we here, though, I want to talk to y'all just real quick about fall and what it feels like. What it feels like when you wake up early in the morning and there's a nip in the air. Dripmore is in the building. Sock Posse. There's a nip in the air. You can tell the summer is winding down at a pace where, Anthony D is in the building.
Salute. Good morning.
Good morning. AD, I was just talking to the people about when you wake up during the end of the summer and there's like a nip in the air, like it don't feel like that summertime temperature. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? When you have to put socks on, you have to get up out of the bed. You legit have to put socks on as soon as you get out of the bed. You're like, oh, hey.
I don't know if it's that time just yet, Freezy. It's only the second week of September. You gotta relax.
I understand, but I'm building towards something though. Like where we are. It is, bro. Like I think this morning, like it's still right now. It's still not even. What's the temperature like where y'all at? 70 something.
70, yes.
Yeah, and so when we woke up this morning, it was in the 50s.
Salute, Nick Nation. I see people rolling in.
Yeah, they rolling. We see you rolling.
on a crispy football Sunday.
Yeah.
How the Bears looking? Freezy. How the Bears looking, sir? Is that a Chicago Bears t-shirt that you're wearing there?
No, it's a Knicks Morning Drive shirt.
Oh, okay. I didn't see. Oh, all right. Very nice. Very nice. Please go and collect your Knicks Morning Drive apparel. So tell me, the Bears.
We all right. It's a down year. We probably only win 12 or 13 games. You know what I'm saying? Our quarterback probably only going to throw for 5,000 yards.
All of that.
30 touchdowns. Nah, bro, that's going to be a down season for us, bro.
I mean, that little.
That
little. Wow, for real. You can't make the playoffs with numbers like that.
I know. We gotta go out here and it's a weird year in the division where Chicago and Detroit might make the playoffs instead of Minnesota and Green Bay. It's one of them weird years, bro.
Well, I'm not big on Minnesota. I think they got a lot of problems. They got a lot of issues right there.
They got 99 problems, bro.
Yeah, they got a lot. Green Bay may be another year away.
Yeah, because of what happened Friday for sure.
Yeah, and Chicago's just not there yet. So
Yeah,
we're not gonna do that.
says the Jets fan. Yeah, I got.
That's because this is the start of a journey. And to all my Jet fans out there, we're not gonna feed into the fake news and false propaganda that people are just trying to, put around the team. Rodgers missed mini camp. Reddick isn't here. The outsiders do more crying than the actual fans. You ever notice that?
With the Jets, I never noticed.
No, because you're wearing Spiderico focals, so
yeah, I never I never noticed anything about the Jets. I thought New York had two teams, the Giants and Buffalo.
Well, I'm not going to even dignify that with a lucid response. We are here. I want to remind people that the start of the football season is here as we are, on this crispy Sunday. And, to all my Jet fans out there, y'all know what it is. It's a ride that we're going to experience and we're going to enjoy and we're going to remember forever. Super Bowl or bust, baby. That was pretty simple, right?
Yeah,
Super Bowl or bust, baby.
Andios is in the building. To be honest with you, even right now, I'm not even concerned about the Jets because the Jets are gonna Jets things up. That's what they do, right? Every year, it's the all over the world same song. All around the world,
same song. No.
They brought in a key guy. Oh, we brought in a key guy. He's the guy that's going to get us over the hump this year. And then.
Well, if you're not trying to win, Freezy, then what are you doing?
Trying not to lose.
We're trying to win.
Yeah.
We're trying to win.
I'm just going to say that when I felt the tinge in the air this morning, it reminds me of my favorite time of year is what I was getting to.
Okay.
When that tinge is in the air, it's that pocket of sports from about September to Halloween when it seems like all the sports are on at the same time. Is what I was alluding to. When it's the MLB playoffs, college football, college basketball, the NBA is right around the corner. NFL is starting up, and it's that sweet spot of when you wake up and you got the little tickle in your throat. You're like, oh, wait a minute, I need some coffee. Down south we call it coffee. Up north is coffee.
You've been down south too long.
Coffee.
I'm not even a coffee drinker. You've been down south too long, Freezy.
Yeah, man. So I'm excited about this pocket of time that we're in. I'm not just looking forward to my Bears winning the Super Bowl or the Jets winning the Super Bowl. I'm honestly looking forward to college football. It's fun, right? I'm looking forward to NBA training camp and the rumors and all that stuff that come along with players showing up, right? Looking forward to the Mets being in the playoffs, right? Nothing would make a New York sports fan happier than to see the Mets and the Yankees in the playoffs at the same time. And to be honest with you, the hottest baseball team in New York City right now is the New York Mets.
The Mets are hot.
They are
scorching
hot right now.
They are scorching right now.
Yeah, man.
And it's the time of the year where you want to be scorching. It's funny that you say that because I was watching a lot of this early 2000 baseball games, and when I was still so much in love with baseball. Not that I'm out of love with baseball, but baseball doesn't pull at my heartstrings the way it used to. For so many reasons. But the Mets are hot,
They are.
and in this time of the year, it is that where you can't decide what to put on to go outside. It's gonna get cold at 5 o'clock.
Right.
That type of feeling, that type of thing.
Right.
But as you're smoozing about the Knicks, or we're leading up to that, we're getting ramped up
Yeah.
to that time, where we're gonna have when is NBA Day? When they meet
the 30th of September.
the 30th. All right, so we're like 2 weeks from there, and then training camp will begin.
Yeah.
And and as the late great Jackie Gleason used to say, and away we go.
And I'm gonna try to catch some of those preseason games. I don't know. I say some plural, right? But I don't know if I'll be able to do it because those weekday games in other cities are tough, bro. Man got to work. You know what I'm saying? You gotta, how it is. You know the vibe.
Yeah, we got to do what we got to do in this life to survive. There's gonna be a lot of things that's gonna be going on within the next month or two.
And hockey is
hockey is there. Sports. It's just that time of the year where sports kind of it's like the beginning of a sports year for everything, kind of sort of. Yeah.
Man.
Time of the year. It's like the beginning of the sports year where you can actually have hope as a fan.
Yep.
You can actually have hope, but as Red told my man in Shawshank, hope has no place here.
If you're a Jets fan,
I'm absolutely a true Gemini. You saw I was walking down one path and I absolutely clicked to the next path. Hope has no place here. It's either you are who you are or you're not. Yeah. It's really the fanatic that look for the brighter side in everything. Number 57, some player that's in the annals of the franchise that no one will remember in 3 years, but the true fan remembers what that person could have been, what that person is, what happened, so
what
forth.
School he went to, what his best
school he went to,
they remember. Yeah, they remember. All of that stuff.
Absolutely, because at one point in time, you kind of came. No, not that you came up with certain generation of players.
Yeah.
That's why we can wax poetically about, the Cartwright. Well, you do, at least. you do.
Bill Cartwright.
You're the only one. You know what I mean? But
man,
that guy, one of my best friends, he used to be a Jet fan. He jumped off the ship a long time ago, and I'm gonna tell him right here, right now. The inn is full. There will be no re-entry. Okay.
Oh, wow.
That. But his dude was Bruce Harper.
Yeah.
There's a name that, as time goes on, you got to 1982, Bruce Harper.
Yep.
That type of deal. 1982, Louis Orr played for the Knicks.
Louis Orr, number 50.
Rest in peace, double nickel.
Yeah, Syracuse alum. Yeah.
Then goes on to coach. Was that Seton Hall?
Yeah.
Then goes on to coach Seton Hall. But he wasn't one of my favorite players, and I'm gonna keep it a buck because sometimes we wax poetically about players and stuff in time when in the real moment. Because I used to remember just going, "Why is he so thin?"
Yeah.
But at the end of the game, because he was a pivotal dude off the bench, and he could spot start.
Yeah.
And he was what? How tall was Louis? 6'8", 6'9"?
Yeah, I think 6'7", 6'8", something like
6'7",
that. He
something
was a
like
small
that.
forward. He was a small
But he
forward.
was
Yeah.
very, very thin. I just kept remembering going, he's not going to be able to last. But on that particular team, he did serve a purpose, even though they didn't go to the finals or anything like that. But he was a good player that some fans would absolutely remember. Just how you said number 55 for no other reason, the double nickel.
Yeah. I remember him being the guy that kind of was the bridge to another guy. I remember him being the guy that was the bridge to the Obi Toppin, Johnny Newman era. Why do I keep calling?
I have no idea.
Why I keep calling
Why do you
that
do that? Why do you do that?
Yo, that is so peculiar, bro. That's
Obi's gonna have a better career than Kenny, yo. I mean,
man.
and this is no slight at Kenny because we've done Kenny dirty on these airwaves, so for real, we gotta keep it about. We've done Kenny bad, but Kenny, you gotta hold that. It's no disrespect. It's just as Knick fans, we remember the mistakes more than the positiveness, I guess.
And we want to remember the positives. We want to.
We do. We so do. But it's in those moments where the fan actually knows better than the organization. I'm sorry. Sometimes it does happen.
It happens, man.
You know what I mean? Sometimes it really does happen. Because remember back then, college basketball was something that was on a staple every weekend. It was going to be a big game.
Yep.
He goes to Kentucky.
Yeah.
That's a powerhouse school. Yep. So how were we, the fan, not going to have seen? It's not like you could say, well, if he played for St. John's, you would definitely know because it was local. No, Kentucky was a national, was, and will always be a national powerhouse.
Yep.
So how are we not going to see that guy in living color for what your idea was to be, which was to match up to the Celtics and their front court?
Yep.
The man was 205 pounds at 6'8". Let's let that marinate for a second. While Boston is going 6'10", 6'11", 7'1".
Yep.
Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame. Yep.
So it's not that we want it. So it's no personal slight to Kenny. And well, because you keep calling the man you keep calling the man Obi Toppin, but it's just one of those things. It's not personally to you, Kenny, but to the organization. One of those things where us as Knick fans at that time, especially myself, because I was really entrenched in the draft and in college and all of that stuff, I was like,
no, what are you drafting him for?
Jerry Gerard on WPIX Channel 11.
Yep.
For those who remember, old school, people from back then, when they drafted him, he was kind of a cynical, broadcaster.
Anyway, he was in,
But he was like just snide, like a little jab here and there. And he went, the Knicks drafted Kenny Walker. Ooh,
Yeah.
I'll never forget that shit.
Yeah, you remember when you that's when you could be. That's on TV when you could be yourself. Now,
but it wasn't. But it wasn't. It wasn't. That passion wasn't there from the broadcasters, or that hate. You understand? That kind of Skip Bayless all day, all night, hate. Yeah. No, you get a quick little jab, boom, boom. On to the next story.
You mean when there was journalistic integrity, right? You're talking about when the journalists used to actually try to be journalistic, that like they try to have some integrity. Yeah, that's what those days. Now guys are just personalities.
They're personalities, but what happened was, and I don't know who figured this out, the passion from the sports fan of the 80s and 90s on Radio Drive, right, was such that it would drive shows like Mike and the Mad Dog and stuff like that.
Okay, I see where you go.
They're from the area, they're passionate as well, right?
Right.
And all of a sudden, across the country, these little things started happening. But it was radio.
Right.
Someone, ESPN, I don't know who was it first that decided to bring the format from the radio to the television. Yeah. Then it kind of goes from there. And it going now gives them the license to be flagrant that maybe the FCC on radio wouldn't allow you to do, but the radio wasn't taking it to there. It was it was more so of, you know, the fan, you come in, you're passionate, they give you 30 seconds, they cut you off, boom, on to the next passionate fan.
Right.
They took the passionate fan and branded them to the broadcaster. So in essence, the broadcasters out there like, oh, we'll just take what we've heard from the radio and boom, and we'll just
become Boomer and Carton. Yeah.
And we'll take it off.
Yeah.
I listened to Carton one day. Well, I was forced to, because this was a couple of weeks ago when I was in a Met fan's car.
Yeah.
And no, I'm sorry. So I'm a Yankee fan. My dude was driving. No, sorry, Met fans. And he was doing the game, like how the red barbers and the whatever. I'm like, oh my God, this guy's fucking horrible.
Right.
How is he doing Yankee games? Because anything is, I'm like, you're making a mockery of the presentation. Because remember, baseball and radio in particular, you have to kind of take the audience to in a fantasy imagination place, because you're the one watching the game, so you're the one regurgitating it out to the fans.
Yeah.
Right? When you're being, you want to entertain or whatever, but when you're just being like just totally stupid,
right,
and your voice doesn't match, because baseball is slow, it's groove, you got to get in. You can't have something that's literally like stabbing you every 2 seconds, because that's not the pace of a game.
That's not the pace of the game.
So, I know we went far out on a tangent, at least I did.
I was with you, man. Don't stop and keep going, bro.
With how things used to be, when, as you said, some journalists used to have some couth about themselves.
Yeah.
You understand? Everything wasn't the gotcha all day. And that has now, and in essence, because of that, and now because of the internet, and people are so turned off, and people are like, you know what? I can do what they're doing.
Yeah.
Here we are now.
Here we are.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you kept going down that path. I was enjoying that place where you were going with it. You had us set adrift on Memory Bliss. Like when you were like legit. Is that a song or something? AD just started laughing when I said
adrift on Memory Bliss on.
Oh yeah, okay. That used to be a saying, and I think they turned it into a song, right? So, but the way that you like the way you took us down memory lane is and kept the current thing visible for us to not be enveloped by it, but stay on that set of drift part.
Quick break. We'll be right back.
Hold on, Freeze. I'm sorry. My phone. I'm sorry. So sorry.
All right. No worries. Hey. So I'm with you in that place, right? Of one thing leads to another, and it's the reason why we enjoy shows like Old School Knicks, where if we want the fans' perspective, why not just go to the fans? You know what I'm saying? So I'm with you on that. What I did want to add to though, what I did want to also add is this moment of time that we're in is always it's the opposite of nature. Like spring is supposed to be the reawakening, the rebirth, and all that stuff. But for sports fans, it's fall. Like you hear all these things all year long, and then now you get to start love over back to the way things were, right? And so you get like everybody at this time of year has hope, right? Knicks fans have hope. Rangers fans, New York Rangers fans, for some reason have hope. Jets fans have hope. Giants fans, for some reason, have hope. Yankees fans right now have hope that they can win a championship because the Yankees don't play baseball for the sake of doing it. They play baseball for the sake of winning championships. Mets fans, and believe it or not, Mets fans, the franchise is almost 65 years old and have only been to the playoffs, I think 11 times or 12 times in their entire franchise history. Right, that the Mets have never had a dynastic playoff run where they rule the division for 7 or 8 years, right? And this may be the beginning of something, right? And then there are our New York Knicks who feel like we're.
But stay right there for a second, Freezy. Stay right there for a second with the Mets, and not to pick at the Mets. Without the revamping of baseball's playoff format, it's only the very best of the best after 154, then now 162 would be their standing.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah.
If you don't have realignment and all of that, if you don't have what's that? What was the first step they did?
The wild card.
The wild card in 95, which is the Yankees and Mariners. No, I'm not knocking it because that was a tremendous series.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We were on the short end of it. But if you don't have those realignments and stuff like that, it just hit me or just reminded me like you truly had to be the best of the best in your division to step out there.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things or one of the reasons why baseball is no longer my heartstring. I think they tinkered with it too much and not in the right places.
Yeah.
It's like for a moment when basketball was tinkering, and even today, right, they tinker with the flow of the game. Remember when they put in the 3-point line?
Yeah.
And then next year they had to take it back. Or 2 years later they had to take it back.
Yeah.
Because it sucked. Remember when they changed the ball?
Yeah, I remember when they changed the ball.
Remember that? When guys was just ball through their legs.
And then they had those little splinters on the tip of their fingers from the new ball.
It was crazy. Dude shooting the ball past the stanchion.
Yeah.
Right? But what did basketball do? It took it back.
Yeah.
Baseball, it's like if we make a change, set in stone. It's going to be here for the next 100 years.
Yeah.
And to me, my humble opinion, those are some of the reasons why I kind of drifted away from the game and kind of more so fortified myself within basketball and football. And as I see, Allah wise, wisdom. to your question, wisdom.
Yeah,
if I'm incorrect, please school me, God.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are some things that basketball was able to kind of like, okay, we tinkered with this, we made a change, well, we can take it back. Like,
right.
If basketball now was to tomorrow wake up and go, let's put back the hand check.
Yeah.
They would be a hard cry from players. Players around the league would join a picket line.
Right.
outside the NBA's office. How dare you put back the hand check?
Right.
Right? How dare you be able to move players around on offense and defense? How dare you not be able to do that step back?
Yeah. Players would have to get less athletic and get stronger. Now you don't have to be strong. You just have to be athletic, dexterous, mobile, agile, right? Because there's no hand check. Bro, if cats could hand
at all, and mind you, guys, there's some guys who became the master of it, a la Derek Harper, right? A lot, but my point to this is
Scottie Pippen.
Oh, when I hear these new cats that are who are blatantly disrespecting the older generation of basketball players, I'm like, do you realize that a lot of these fancy moves that you see here today, what moves that our generation and before were already doing, but the league frowned upon it.
Yeah.
And they put in certain defensive rules and tactics so you wouldn't be able to do that.
James Harden wouldn't even be able to play in the 90s.
They take him out.
James Harden.
They take him out.
And I'm sorry to say this too. I'm gonna
He's
say
Jamal Mashburn in the 90s. Remember Mashburn on the Heat?
Yep.
Remember Mashburn on the Heat? And I love Mash. Bronx, New York.
Bronx,
right?
New York. Greatest borough God ever created.
That man was with the Heat, not until he got to Charlotte.
Yeah.
Even when he was in Dallas. But when he was with Miami, they locked up his game. They wouldn't let him do stuff like that. Skip to my Lou.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when I hear these guys come out here with this, this guy shouldn't make it on the top, whatever, that guy shouldn't make it on the top, whatever. Like, you speak as if you invented the game.
Right.
In order for you to have loved this game, you would have had to have watched this game.
Right. Right.
I heard somebody say some nonsense the other day. Michael Jordan never played against a top 5 shooting guard.
Man, stop it. Stop it, bro. What are we talking about? What are we talking about?
So if we're going to do that, who's Clyde Drexler? Top 6? Top 8? Top 15?
But 80, okay. So maybe what if he didn't? So what if he didn't, right? Does that mean he didn't play in the center era, the golden era of NBA centers? He played during the golden era of NBA centers. So what? It's like the shooting guards now don't play against great centers. Yeah, I mean,
not centers is going to put you on your ass for coming in the lane.
Right, and I'm not saying that Jordan didn't play against great shooting guards because I was there. I know the word shooting guard back then meant shooting guard, right? I know that they shot the ball and they guarded. Shooting guards now are weapons. All they do is shoot. They don't guard a soul, bro. They don't play defense. They don't guard nobody, bro.
Yes, Allah. That was a travel. The step back in 2005 was a travel.
Yes.
Because it's literally bounce 1, 2. That was an absolute travel, but because it looks so good now, you can't think, well, wow, how come it wasn't back then? I watch a lot of old school basketball. I see guys who were doing it back then, but they weren't calling it. It wasn't the step back.
Now they call it the gather step. So the gather step counts as one step. That's why it's legal. So you can gather.
The so-called Euro was a travel back then.
Yes, that was a travel back then.
It should be a travel now, but because the game wants to promote offense, so they are so the power factors of the game. They are so enamored by points because whatever their research data tells them that the fans want to see points.
Yep.
Right? Fans want to see points. No, fans want to see a good game.
Fans want to see a good game, man. They want to see elite level talent. What it is guys get paid from scoring points, right? And so the more points you score, the higher your check is, the more money you make. There are guys right now and I'm not knocking Jalen Brunson because I love Jalen Brunson, right? But Jalen Brunson is one of those guys, bro. If he was the way he plays now, he wouldn't be able to do that in the 90s and 2000s. But we're not in the 90s and the 2000s. We're in 2024. And Jalen Brunson is a weapon. Jalen Brunson can flat out shoot that basketball. Right. That's what that man can do. But back then, you had to be, bro. You remember when Kevin Johnson was maybe the 7th best point guard in the league, and he was averaging 20 and 10 assists. Kevin Johnson might have been like the 7th best point guard in the NBA in 1988.
Depending on whose metric you're using. But you're right. He wasn't thought of as that guy necessarily outside of the inner circle. But you knew, and this is even before Barkley, you knew you went up against KJ, ask Olajuwon, posted him.
He and for those that hadn't seen Kevin Johnson at his time, Kevin Johnson is akin to, you can compare him to today's De'Aaron Fox, right?
That's like a good comparison.
Today's De'Aaron Fox, where he's kind of off the radar. You know who he is. Like
better shooter though. Shooter.
Yeah, he's a better. Yeah, but when you play their team, he has you worried. But when you don't play him, you don't worry about him anymore. You just like, oh yeah, it'd be good to see him in the All-Star game, right? But you don't worry about Kevin Johnson in that respect, like De'Aaron Fox, kind of off the radar, so to speak. But the point that I'm getting at ultimately is in today's NBA, which is the one we have to live with, Jalen Brunson is an absolute stud, bro. An absolute weapon. Jalen Brunson is probably a top 7 player in the NBA right now. Right? I have him over Steph Curry right now. And if Giannis has one more year like last year, I'm going to take Jalen Brunson over Giannis. And I know that sounds crazy to think, but if Jalen Brunson has another 28 points, 7 assists season, and his team makes the Eastern Conference Finals, I think I may have to take him over Giannis.
If he has, Frizzy, I'm glad you said that. If he has right now another 28.7, 29, whatever it is,
yeah,
with this collection of talent right now, with the addition of Bridges and we hope a full OG, he's better than I thought.
Yeah,
he's better than I thought. Because the idea would be, in pure theory, would be that there'd be more, guys would score more, they'd have more opportunities.
Right.
But you never know until the game's on the line.
Right.
Who wants the shot?
Right.
And who's willing to take it? Who has the shot, I should say, and who's willing to take it?
I think he's going to be 50, 40, 90. Ralph Lewis, thank you for the generous contribution. Ralph Lewis says, please, guys, do a show, like a 2 or 3 hour show about the Knicks tape era. Please. Much love. I'll have to talk to AD about that, man, during the week.
We generally bounce in and out of the Knicks tape era. To be quite, because we've been doing the show now for 2 years.
Yep. 2
years. 2 years. And just off memory, we've bounced in and out of it. But yeah, we could do a watch along. We could do a watch along. The Knicks tape era. That was a beautiful era. I was, it was just, it was kind of like not last season, the season before, the first season when we got Hart, where there was so much feel good.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The Knicks tape era was the same thing, but you needed to make another move to solidify what should have been the overall goal.
Yeah.
Right? And when I say that, I always harken back to 2 years ago when Van Fleet was right there.
Yeah.
Toronto was not going to re-sign this man.
Yep.
I said it at the time. I was trying to put the juju in the air for the Knicks to get him at that time because we desperately needed somebody when Brunson was off the floor, and even in combination with Brunson. Because remember, Quickly was he hadn't merged yet.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Van Fleet was a former champion, very good player, and it just, I don't know, because we don't know the inner workings of that, but that is the move I wanted for that team.
Right.
For that team, that Knicks tape era team. Oh, God.
We needed a shooting guard, bro.
We needed somebody besides JR. We needed to fortify because we needed more scoring.
But remember leading up to that, we swung and missed at shooting guard so many times, bro. Like legit, we went cheap on the market for shooting guard. You remember Aaron Aflalo?
Yes.
Remember Courtney Lee?
Yes, but JR was better than both of them.
I understand. No, I'm with you. But my point is, we swung and missed at shooting guard because JR is one who can't focus for 35 minutes. He's not a starter. He's not going to be focused for long enough to be an NBA starter.
And I think that was his problem here with the Knicks.
Yeah, he just couldn't stay dialed in.
He just couldn't. I remember when because at the time when we got him, it was during coming off the lockout because he was in China. And he did whatever he did in China, and China was like, all right, we're willing to, we gave you 5 or whatever. You don't earn 3, give us back 2.
They won a championship. Remember?
Right. But the relationship wasn't great with him there. And he wanted to come back because of course, him and his agent is dialed into the league is about to restart.
Yeah.
Melo's in New York. Melo's your man. He's trying to get you over here. And it was a perfect place for JR at that time because he was young, uber athletic.
Yeah.
He could drill the 3. He has 10. I think he still has the record with Denver, 10 or 11 in the game.
Yeah.
But the one thing with JR is that JR, as you said, could not stay dialed in.
He just couldn't.
He couldn't stay dialed in.
Right.
And I thought if he could have stayed dialed in, we would have beat Indiana.
Oh, God.
Okay? And we'd have had a much better run at Miami. Because remember, once he got to Miami, him and Shumpert, LeBron gifted them, when they won the championship, they gifted them new contracts. Whoa.
Yeah.
Too happy to have him.
Yep.
But with us, he showed flashes. He really did. He showed flashes of something that you could harness and maybe you can have here for a long period of time. Right. But it wasn't, with him, it just wasn't meant to be. But shout out to JR. I don't think we've ever really talked about JR here outside of the Knicks tape. I mean, within the Knicks tape era.
And I said, and for the Amon Shumpert fans, don't find it disrespectful that I said we needed a shooting guard. I think Shumpert was a second year rookie. He was a rookie, right? Or second year player.
With JR, I think he was a rookie with JR.
He was a rookie, right? Okay.
Yeah, he's a rookie. He's either a rookie or no. You may be right. I think he's a second year player with JR. He's second year.
Yeah.
His first year is with Lynn.
Lynn and Landry Fields.
Right. It's the beginning of the Knicks tape era. Right. Yeah. That's kind of the beginning.
Yeah.
His second year is with as it goes in. But he was. I think we mentioned this a couple of weeks ago with Shump. Shump didn't have an in-between game.
No.
Shump was a college point guard at Georgia Tech, but he wasn't going to be an NBA point guard.
And he wasn't even that. They made him do it because he could get what he wanted to on the floor. Shumpert was like Tyreek Evans at point guard. Like he could do it. He was probably more talented than 80% of the NBA point guards, but he didn't have the point guard mentality upstairs. Like you have to have the you got to have the books. If you don't have the books, you're not gonna be able to do it, bro. You know what I'm saying?
I heard him speak on it. I don't know how recent it was, but I saw YouTube pretty recently. I saw the clip at least. And he mentioned the fact that with D'Antoni, he started out as a point guard. And he didn't understand why they changed him because he was a point guard at Georgia Tech. And it speaks to your point. I'm like, dude, you obviously were not totally aware of your skill sets at that time because you weren't the pick and roll guy that the game was really now forging into be. And on the other side, as the shooting guard, the combo, you don't have a mid-range.
Right. And he didn't have a scorer's mentality either.
You're uber athletic. You're a tremendous defender.
Right.
Because we haven't had we've had good defenders, but we haven't had anything like him.
Not Shumpert level defense at the
Oh no, because I remember in that second half when he put Jose Calderon in his hip pocket.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. The game where Lynn, really becomes Lynn.
Yeah.
His underboss was Shumpert.
Yeah. And the thing about that Georgia Tech team, remember there's a Jarrett Jack era at point guard for Georgia Tech. Jarrett Jack leaves. They bring in another guy they promote another guy to point guard. I think he was a sophomore. I can't remember the kid name.
Once a Nick, always a Nick.
but Shumpert was the freshman that was supposed to come in and just be the two guard of the future, the wing player of the future for Georgia Tech. The point guard that they have is ineffective. They moved Shumpert to point along with a guy named Derek Favors. Y'all may not remember that dude, Derek Favors or whatever, but they moved Shumpert to on ball, right? Defense and offense, but Shump is not a point guard. He has the talent to do it. Like he has the talent to do it, but in order to be a point guard, bro, you got to have the mentality. It's the thing. Well,
it's the tweener thing, and we need a segment called "Look Through the Chat." I looked through Long Island and said Shumpert was a bum who could not shoot, broken wrist, hit, twitch, shot. Shum was trash after the high top fade dunk. Yes, I remember that dunk put back.
I remember that.
Oh my God, that was lethal. Yes, but it's the tweener thing, Freezy. It's a lot of the reasons why the Euro game has kind of surpassed us on some angles, right?
Right.
Because at some point, I don't know what happened here in the States, AAU ball or not. I don't know. We would have to have a real expert on that particular topic.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, the rise of the tweener.
Yeah.
Right? The Ben Gordons of the world.
Yeah.
And players like that they're not necessarily they're not necessarily, gonna get you 30 a night, but they may be in the high 20s. 4 or 5 assists kind of thing.
Yeah.
Then the next night, more assists. It was never like an equal balance of their game, right? And to this point, I was watching Chauncey Billups, once a Nick, always a Nick, right? And he talked about his time in Minnesota. And in particular, he said, Terrell Brandon at the time is like one of the best point guards in the game. At one point, Sports Illustrated had him on the cover as the best point guard in the game. That's with Marbury, Stockton, and this one, that one, that one, that one in the game.
In the game, yeah.
But in the conversation, he says Terrell Brandon was. This is a halftime conversation. Brandon pulls him aside. Well, Brandon pulls him aside and he was talking to him about the game or whatever. And Brandon's like, "Yo, the game ain't going right. Yo, I'm playing terrible." And he's like, "Terrell, what are you talking about? You got 18 points. You got 20 points." And he's like, "Nah, KG's not involved."
Right.
Think about that for a second.
Yep.
This is kind of like the transition of where point guards are going.
Yeah.
Terrell Brandon has 18 to 20 points at half. And at the route he's going to get 40. High 30s to 40. But what is he concerned about? He's concerned about young KG. And if KG hasn't touched the ball, whatever, he's not gonna, because he's not a demanding kind of ball player. So he, as the point guard, he, as the orchestrator for the coach, has to now go out there and orchestrate a game plan that's going to include the superstar.
Yep.
See, this is where the game is kind of like flipped with the now. And I'm not saying all of the point guards are today nowadays, but it's now the point guard is now the star, the co-star, and that Faye Dunaway kind of person over there. For those of you who don't know Faye Dunaway is
the third
actress.
The third
way back when, and she wasn't just or whatever. But I just threw that in there. My bad.
Yeah. That was a blast from the past. But like the third best person in the movie. You know what I'm saying? Very important, but not crucial.
Yeah, but you had to. But the point of it is, the point guard, your job at one point in time was to get everybody involved, which is another reason why I never called Steph a real point guard. He's in that tweener zone.
Yeah.
And it's for people who don't want to, acknowledge it and say it, because you know what? It feels good. Because why? Because Steph, his persona that we've seen has only been great. He hasn't been a bad guy. And to tell him to his face, "You're not Magic Johnson."
Right. Yeah, but
would be blasphemous.
But okay, so is Magic Johnson a true point guard?
Absolutely.
Is he a point forward?
No. There was no such term at the time until Rodney McCray.
Right.
Until Paul Pressey.
Paul Pressey. Yeah, Paul Pressey is a great example.
But McCray predates Pressey by a couple of years, same generation, right? Two different coaches.
And their talent arc is different too. Like Paul Pressey started with Don Nelson, but that Terry Stotts era of Paul Pressey was like
another name of a guy. When you say Michael Jordan didn't play against, well, who was Paul Pressey?
Yo, who was Rolando?
Who was Reggie Lewis?
Who was Eddie Johnson?
Who's Eddie Johnson?
Who was Dale Ellis?
Dale Ellis.
People got to stop, bro.
You gotta relax.
That's when you know.
Gotta relax.
Yeah,
because we've allowed young people, and this is no disrespect to young people, but this is a moment where, as my grandmother used to say, you ought to be seen and not heard.
Seen and not heard.
You understand? You don't know every damn thing.
Right.
If you've never watched certain players, when you had the access to watch certain players and how their game was, how could you dare fix your face to call them trash?
Yeah, Kelly Tripucka made the All-Star team numerous times.
Multiple time 20-point scorer.
He was the All-Star shooting guard in the East before Michael Jordan. And what are we talking about?
And he had the best white man's perm of the game.
The best perm. Shout out to Jersey City. Kelly Tripucka went to my high school. Shout out to Kelly Tripucka. He went to my high school. You know what I'm saying? So shout out, yeah, man. Kelly Tripucka had the best perm. Him and early Hubie Brown. I don't know what was going on with Hubie.
Early Hubie, but that was the thing in the late 70s, early 80s. For some particular reason, the white man became really focused on wanting to have their version of the afro.
Yeah.
And it was like, All right. If you willing to do it, okay.
Okay.
Let's
Whatever
get it
you want
done.
to do. Whatever you want to do, boss.
Whatever you want to do, boss.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to do. Just
They
show me
out here
some
looking like
results.
they out
Just
here
show me
looking
some
like
results.
I here looking like Ice Spice. I here looking like Ronald McDonald.
Oh my god, dude, Ronald, but that red perm. How many
Yeah.
kids done force their moms and pops to take them to McDonald's just because of that red perm?
That red perm, bro.
That
Oh my
red perm.
goodness.
Can we stop it? Can we
Yeah.
stop? But you know, to the earlier point, it was just like if you've never seen these guys in action, or you've never taken the time at least to study, which tells me one thing: you're only going to be so good as a ball player, right? Because studying is not a part of your mental.
Right.
You'd have to watch the game.
Right.
What made Kobe so great, right? Not that you're trying to emulate Kobe, but you know what? There's some things like desire
Yeah.
that everybody should have,
Yeah.
right? But especially within the sports realm,
Yeah. Right. That man had desire and that man had a disproportionate level of confidence and desire that it didn't matter what his archetype was. He was gonna take his God-given gifts and make it work. Like, for instance, people tell me how great Kobe is, and the first stat I bring up to him is Kobe Bryant missed the most shots in NBA history. Right?
yeah,
Kobe Bryant has missed the most shots in NBA, but it don't matter. That's one of those longevity stats. Like if you play a long time,
don't matter.
yeah.
But
Kobe,
within there is times. There's a lot of times when you know when there's guys that don't want that shot.
yeah.
And he as someone on the team, he knows it.
Yep.
And the flip side of that is too, the ego says, I can make it.
Yep.
And you only have that kind of ego because you've put in the work.
Had a movie, Kobe Doing Work, Spike Lee.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've put the work in. You're not out in the clubs. No disrespect. We was all, there at one point in time.
Yeah.
But the best of the best, the creme de la creme, even if they were there, you would never know them because they were in and out. It's almost like you got an appearance fee and there was a double back really out. Kobe Bryant's in the place, yo. Salute Kobe. Oh, people looking for Kobe. Kobe is gone.
You see the back of that man's head.
The back. You saw a picture of the back of that man's head into the car. Because what? He's not there for that.
Yeah, and so let me ask you this: is Michael Jordan your GOAT, the greatest of all time?
I wouldn't have admit this 10 years ago.
And I'm going somewhere with it. I just wanted to get you.
I would not have admit this 10 years ago because the wounds were still so fresh. They never really go away.
No,
the man just gave nightmares. He made food unedible. Drinks warm.
Right.
Woman. You fighting with your woman for no goddamn reason of her own, but for the mere fact that
ruined your day,
ruined your week.
Yeah.
Ruined your week. That's what he could do to you. That's what his teams could do when they were there. So yes, if I gotta put a label on it, GOAT, whatever, yes, by far.
So I want to add a submission to the GOAT conversation. I want to add a new submission, and y'all heard it here first, right? I want to add a new submission to the GOAT conversation.
Oh boy.
My submission, and now mind you, before this, I always stated that the GOAT is a moving target, right? Like for years, I thought Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was the GOAT, right? Okay. And then for a few years, I threw LeBron in the conversation because people were saying Jordan, and I think LeBron is a better player than Michael Jordan, but that doesn't mean he's the GOAT, right? Right, because GOAT is like you have to be accomplished in order to be the GOAT. You just can't be a great player, right? Because the NBA every year the NBA has 10 great players in it every year. So the whole such and such is a great player thing is like Giannis is never going to be considered the GOAT, right? But I will submit this. I want to add Tim Duncan's name to the GOAT conversation. And I want to add Tim Duncan's name to the GOAT conversation for the mere fact that Tim Duncan was a highly touted college player that went to a organization with the expectations to turn them around and win championships. And Tim Duncan went to a organization, turned them around and won championships. I think you have to be that in order to be the GOAT. Michael Jordan didn't go to Chicago with the expectations to turn them around. When he went, they found out he was great, and then he turned them around. But LeBron James went to Cleveland, anointed as the savior. He turned them around, and they eventually won a championship with LeBron James, right? And so it was the second time around. But y'all are anybody that has ever been in a relationship, you know, second time around. Y'all already know how good second time around could be. Y'all already know, right? Like, hey, girl, I've been missing this. But anyway, I want to add Tim Duncan's name to the GOAT conversation. And the reason why I want to add Tim Duncan's name is because of the stuff that I mentioned beforehand just a few seconds ago. And I also want to mention the mere fact that Tim Duncan had some very, 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 very huge moments as an NBA player in the playoffs. Huge. Right? There were times where San Antonio would be down by 7, and they just give the ball to Tim Duncan like for 12 straight trips, and somehow he would get the game tied. You just keep giving it to Timmy, keep giving it to Timmy, keep giving it to Timmy. Well, on what other side? And back then, teams had power forwards that could play defense, right? Legit, he could get these buckets on any power forward. USA didn't matter. It didn't matter. You couldn't stop Tim Duncan because if he was gonna, he would just drop step and shoot that J over you. If you smothered him, he would put that ball on the floor going to the rim.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? You couldn't stop Tim Duncan. Period.
Facts.
Period. And so I want to add his name to the conversation. Is he the GOAT? Maybe not. But it's insane that a multiple-time all-star, multiple-time all-defense player, multiple-time all-NBA player, multiple-time champion is left out of the conversation because we like the guys that can run and jump real high.
Well, remember the first 50 years of the game, it was always about the big man.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So, to be fair, at some point in time, you would have to start, time found guys that were not going to be 6'8" centers, a la Wes Unseld.
Yeah.
Right? So evolution.
Right.
It's not that you don't think of Timmy, or at least for myself, think of Timmy as one of the greats, but you said GOAT, not goats, plural.
Right. Yeah, just add him to the conversation. Is what
right? Is he want? Do you add him to the conversation? Absolutely. The man has 5 championships?
Yeah.
4, 5,
multiple all defensive awards.
But he's not. But he's not that guy that you can get a quote. You can't get a rise out of Tim Duncan. Pause.
Right. Pause.
KG tried.
Right.
Many a times I've heard him say, and all Timmy would be like, "Good shot. Hey, watch this. Nice play."
Yeah.
Like you're not getting more than that.
Yeah.
Just not, because he's so focused on his mission, his task, and his teammates.
Yeah.
You know, he would be like the quintessential get down or lay down. He's already got down. You can't even ask him that question.
Okay.
He's about San Antonio.
Yeah.
Outside of that brief moment where he flirted with Orlando, it's been about San Antonio and the San Antonio way. But his play,
that man made the all defensive team.
You can't name 15 players better than Tim Duncan in the history of this game.
No, you can't.
Can't. Unless you just biased against, unless you just biased for one type of style or one kind of position.
Yeah.
Like that dude hit a shot against Shaq. I can't remember if it was the Western Conference Final or not, but he gets the ball on a broken play and they're above the 3-point line, and he takes one of the most oddest shots and hits it. And it would have been more iconic, right? If former Knicks coach, whose name I will not say, on the very 2 plays later,
headband guy
yeah. hits. That shot was worse than Trent Tucker's 0.3. He hit that shot in 0.0.
Yeah. And ran out the building. Yeah.
Tim Duncan's shot should have been the shot until Ray Allen shot. But that should have been the shot. And to the beauty of the NBA, that guy whose name I won't mention.
And Shaq was all over Tim Duncan too, by the way.
Shaq
let's not pretend
Tim Duncan.
Let's not pretend like it's the Alonzo Mourning.
Oh my God! No, he was all over Tim Duncan.
Yep,
all over Tim Duncan. And Tim hits. It kind of reminded me of Joker's shot over AD last year.
Yeah,
and AD just shook his head like, "Word,
ain't nothing else you can do. What else?
Nothing you can do. Nothing else you can do.
Yeah.
Did your best. You gotta live with that.
Yeah,
but
you gotta live with it.
Gotta live with it. Freezy. We are.
It's that time, bro. I gotta get out of here.
Fantasy football is here. Everything is here. So you already know what it is.
This week, I'm gonna hit y'all up this week, man, to do a mock draft. Probably Monday or Tuesday. I know it's late. I know the season started.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
To do one on Playback
Doesn't
TV.
Matter.
Man. Y'all have
Absolutely.
to check us out on Playback TV, man. I have to get an official mock draft. I have to get an official team to follow this season, everybody. So I'm gonna put the word out on the Blurns Tears homepage. Y'all come check us out while we do the mock draft. It'll probably, man, I might do it in between games. I mean, between the 7 o'clock, the 4 o'clock game and the Sunday night game. I might do it then. But anyway, thank y'all everybody for coming through. We're gonna get out of here so that we can get ready to watch the Jets kick off their season. Was it tomorrow night?
That's tomorrow night, sir.
Tomorrow night. The Bears kick off their season. I think it's at 4 o'clock. I think is their kickoff, but I don't know for sure. But Giants fans, y'all let McKinney go. That safety McKinney is good. Giants fans, y'all let Saquon Barkley walk, and that man scored 3 touchdowns for the Eagles Thursday night. And I'm looking at y'all running back situation side eye.
Yeah.
All right. Salute to Wacko and
absolutely.
David and
we
Nick
don't know where this journey started, but we know where it ended. It ended with you, Knick fans. Till next week. Salute. Make your day great.
Yeah, we out here.
Garvey.
Peace. Yeah. Look out your window. Knicks fans is on your block. Y'all know the Knicks run the city. Pull them shades back. Look out your window. Look down there on the block. That's Knicks fans right there. It's about that time.